individual who's making an impact in so many people's lives. So we know, but it's really exciting that they actually get to see the type of person that she is. We already know. We get to share her, that she's ours. Please welcome your newly appointed co-chair, Tami Bonnell.
Up here. I am so happy to be here, and like my good friend Bob said, this is our time. And before I go into that, though, I really would love everybody to honor everybody that spoke here, because this was absolutely untouchable. Absolutely untouchable. If you don't walk away with an unbelievable to-do list out of everything that they delivered, you weren't listening, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Every single person gave you takeaways that you can go back and apply in your business and literally change the trajectory of your life. That is our goal as a company, is to change the trajectory of your life. I'm going to share with you some things on why it's our time, but I also want to share how you can make it truly your time, to the best of your ability, truly your time. We want to get the most and the best out of ourselves, because there's a really big difference between happiness and fulfillment. And fulfillment doesn't come when you phone it in. Fulfillment comes when you give it your all. When you know, even if you didn't do everything you wanted to do, or you didn't accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish, you know that you gave it your all. And there are those days when you get to go home and you literally could fly the plane home yourself, because you know that you gave it your all and you put in every inch of what it is that you have, and you poured into as many people as you possibly could. I'm going to touch base on it on an individual basis and on a larger basis, but here's some chunks of information on why it is our time. We grew in every single area during the pandemic. Last year we put in 50 new franchises within Exit. This year, in the first 6 months of this year, we put in 50 new franchises. That's some speed of growth and some serious momentum. We put in 13 new regions, and we have more to come. We actually did more than 50 acquisitions, acquiring other companies, because our formula makes so much sense to be able to acquire other companies. We brought in more agents, but cooler than that, agents brought in more agents. So that's an unbelievable opportunity to change the trajectory of every family's life. And there are more people that are getting it, and more people that are grasping it, and more people that are getting hold of it. That's phenomenal. We also increased in per-person productivity, which means that agents are taking more money home, right? But there are a few other things that changed. If you read any new business book that's out there right now, you'll see that people are talking about making it personal. People are talking about human beings. People are talking about making it so that people matter. They're talking about mental health. They're talking about making communities better. They're talking about the responsibility for corporations to make communities better, to make people realize that they're part of a community and they've got to be good corporate citizens and they've got to participate in the communities that they're serving. We knew that from the very beginning. Day one, when this company started, the decision was that we were going to make sure that money from every single transaction went to charity, that every single person was valuable, so that money would go to an administrator bonus, so that person would feel as valued as the agents, and it wouldn't just be salespeople, it would be everybody, because we're a family. And everybody gets to contribute, that we would make sure that money went towards branding and marketing and advertising out of those transactions, so that we could actually have it be more uniform, that it would be more contiguous, that it would make it easier for every single agent to do their job. We focused on the human behind the transaction, the human behind the device, day one. That's so needed right now, and the pandemic only escalated that. People want to matter. They want to matter more than anything. I'm going to give you 2 examples before I go into talking about you, and I want it more for you to be really proud of what it is that you're part of, what it is that you belong to, and really see that this isn't just talk. We actually deliver what we talk about. We commit to things and we keep those commitments. And it really is determining who you are as a company, who you are as an organization. Bob mentioned it a little bit, a couple other people mentioned it a little bit about other companies focusing strictly on the bottom line, that they have shareholders and stockholders to report to. We're independently owned so that we can actually become bigger and better, but we can actually move like a speedboat. But you cannot help people grow, and you cannot get people to grow, and you cannot get people willing to take chances unless they trust. They have to have trust, and they have to feel safe where they are, and they have to feel like they belong where they are, or they're never going to step outside of their comfort zone and take chances. They're never going to do it. But when they feel safe and they know that there's somebody there that's got them, that's somebody there that's going to catch them when they fall, it changes everything. So during the recession, the worst recession since the Depression, around 2010, I'll never forget it. I was in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and Steve Morris, the co-chairman, boy, I love the sound of that. I love the sound of it because I get to work arm in arm with them so that we can build with strengths, right? I want you to know that everybody that was put in a new position, they were put in a new position because we're positioned for growth. It wasn't for anybody to retire, it wasn't for anybody to step away, it was for all hands on deck because we're gonna build something really big. So 2010, Steve and I are speaking at an event, we're sitting in the lobby, and Erica says, go someplace private, calls and says, go someplace private. We go way, way back so that it's literally as big as this room, but it's empty. And we're sitting back in a corner in chairs, and we've got her on speakerphone, and she says, we have 3 months of money left. Other than that, this is Lincoln House of Play. And the most magical thing happened. See, Canada, they have the best banking system in the world. They don't have short sales. They don't have short sales, they don't have foreclosures. 99.9% of transactions that go under agreement close. What a concept. And so they thought all the deals that were on the books in 2010, Keith, they thought they were actually going to close. And they thought short sales were short. Oh well. Anyway, 3 months. But what happened next was magical. Steve Morris, myself, and Erica at the exact same time said, all right, who are we as a company? Not panic, not let's lay everybody off. And we said, we're a company built on human potential and we're not gonna lay anybody off. If anybody takes a hit in pay, it's gonna be us in leadership because we chose to lead and we're more responsible for our people than we are for our bottom line. And we had to outsell and outthink our way out of the recession, and we did. And what happened after that is that it built a trust with all of our people so that they felt so strongly that we were exactly who we said we were going to be, that we had their back and that we would catch them when they fell and that we were responsible. The magic of that is that at corporate headquarters, the average time that an executive has been with our company is 17 and a half years. The average time that an employee has been there is 15 years. If you look at the revolving door in companies, you can tell that that's not the case anywhere else. You can see that that's not the case anywhere else. So when the pandemic hit and we were locked down, right? I'll never forget Friday the 13th in March, I was on the last flight out of Rochester, New York. They weren't even sure that we were going to be able to get on the plane. And when I landed, everything was shut down. Every single flight was shut down, everything was shut down. And we all got together and said, okay, who are we as a company and what do we do? And we watched. We watched competitors literally take 150 to 300 people and put them on a Zoom call without even seeing their face crack, not even looking at them, not even giving them the dignity of you've been working for us for this long and we really respect and appreciate you and we need to do this right now when we'll come back. They literally let everybody go without looking at their face, without looking in their eyes. They literally sent emails, broadcast emails, so that you were just one of another number of everybody else, broadcast emails out to everybody without a personal conversation. Is that the way to run a business? Is that the way to treat people? I don't think so. So we actually came together and we rallied and we said, what can we do? But here's the magical thing that came with that trust. Every single person, all the way down to the people that answer the phone, said, how can we help? All of our trainers rose up and said, we'll work for free. We are going to be part of the solution. Every single one of our trainers, and Amanda, they deserve a huge debt of gratitude. We didn't even have to ask them. How cool is that? We didn't have to ask them. They just rose their hand and said, we're going to help. How can we help? James Petaway spoke into people daily. I don't even know how she kept up the stamina to be able to talk to everybody and give you stuff to do and tips to do every single day. Hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to focus on. This is where you need to go. We had Eckhart Tolle, studying Eckhart Tolle. We had meditation, yoga. It was unbelievable. And education to help everybody ramp up so that they never got stale and they felt like they had somebody that they could connect with, somebody that they could bond with, somebody that they could help build. That stimulus package was worth in excess of $50 million. We don't lay anybody off because you don't lay good people off. You take a hit if you're a leader, you take a hit and pay until everything's okay. You do not lay those other people off. You know what? They're so valuable as human beings. Not only would it take 50% of our time to train somebody new, but would you have that well of an oiled machine? Would you? Absolutely not. I have to thank every single person in leadership for what they did during the pandemic. Our tech team rallied. Our partners rallied. They came in and offered things for free. Our tech team worked literally. I was talking to them at midnight and then they were texting me at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Hey, I have an idea. I think this might work. I think this would be okay. Let's do this. What if we tried to do this? What if we offered them this? And we launched it and came out so that we would actually help to keep people whole. That we would focus on mental health, that we would focus on making sure that everybody was going to be okay and they could ramp up and come out of this. I couldn't be prouder of everyone in this organization that rallied and that hung in there. And I know business got busier and business got better during the pandemic because people moved because of their circumstances and people were freaking out, right? And they wanted to move further away from cities. They wanted to move someplace where they had more land. And there were unbelievable opportunities to take advantage of. But don't think for 1 minute that I don't realize how tough it was for all of you with people that you're taking care of at home, parents and children that are being homeschooled. Literally just that, literally almost like we were walking through an unreal world, right? It was a completely unreal world. And yet everybody stayed glued together. I know that there was more business there, but I also know that it was harder for you for so many reasons, including personal ones, and nobody can pretend to know what it is that you were going through at that time. Nobody can pretend to know. I just want you to know that I'm really proud of you and thank you. Thank you very much. So, the first thing that you got to look at when you're looking at bringing out the best in yourself, right? And it being your time, not just our time. It is our time for all the reasons I said, and it is our time for all the conversations. But I want to share some personal things, and if you want to just send me a text or a message for notes, feel free, or if you want to take notes, feel free. It's 85377 is my obviously for our text, and just punch in TAMI, that's my vanity code. Figured it was pretty simple, I won't forget it, it's my own name. Anybody else forget passwords? No, it's just me. I haven't written on my hand, So, first, you have to know what you want. You have to really know what you want. And I'm going to share a couple things that get the most and the best out of me because maybe it might trigger a thought in your mind. But you have to honestly know what it is you want. What do you want? What are you dreaming about? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What do you really want? Don't limit that list. What do you want for your families? What do you want for your community? What do you want to earn? What do you want to have? What do you want to experience? What do you want to have other people experience? You've got to know what you want first. There's a magical thing called the GPS, and no, not the one that's in your car, although it's kind of magical. Not the one that's in your car, the one that's in your brain. You have a GPS, it's a goal-producing system. And that goal-producing system is sheer magic. But the only way that you can hang on to your self-discipline and keep up with that goal-producing system is if you're passionate about what it is that you want. And that you have a target in front of you that makes you really, you can't wait until you get out of bed. You can't wait to go do it again. I've been home one day this month. I love my job, and thankfully I was home one day because I have clean underwear. But I love Exit as much as I did the day I started. Probably more so, because the relationships have gained more depth, and there is much more fulfillment, right? As we grow and as we build and as you grow as a person, there's much more fulfillment that's there. But that inner GPS for you that helps you to hang on to your self-discipline, first you need to know what you're really passionate about. You need to have it in front of you. It doesn't matter if that's on your phone, it's on a vision board, you write it down and you share it with your family. But the more you have that vision vivid, the better off you're going to be. Going through the pandemic, I also learned a little bit more about myself. And I learned that there are things that I do that get more and better out of me. And so those are the things that I need to continue. I think most people in the room probably know I'm a martial artist. My whole family, everyone in my family is a martial artist. Wrong house to break into. But I stopped competing and I stopped training in martial arts about 12 years ago. We had been doing it as a family for 30 years. My husband's a fifth dan, he's a master and he teaches, and our kids are second degree black belts or above, and we've been training for a long time. I actually used to box in the Golden Gloves before doing that locally, and my nickname's Delicate Flower. And so I stopped doing it because I was so focused on building Exit, and I just wanted to take it. And time to make the donuts. And you know that, Brian, right, Bob? That you gotta get it done, and you gotta get it done, and you gotta get it done, and you gotta get it done. And so I stopped 12 years ago. But I know two things about myself that I should have remembered. Number one, when I have a goal in front of me, I don't stop until I accomplish that goal. So I gotta have goals, I gotta have targets. For me to be physically fit, I've got to have a goal. I've done a triathlon, I've done a marathon, and honestly, you really need to understand, I don't run unless somebody's chasing me. So, to do that, curves are not aerodynamic. It's definitely a push, right? So, but martial arts is a love for me. It's the mind-body connection, you get more and better out of yourself. It's not just about fighting, although I really do love to fight. But it's not just about fighting, it's about that mind-body connection and how you get more and better out of yourself and that you're in the present tense for more time. So I knew what the targets were. I have had the opportunity in my lifetime of breaking 7 world records in sales, 4 of them with Exit, selling out regions. I sold out the rights to the entire United States by 2007, and then we had this pesky recession, so I'm doing it again. But I know when I have that target in front of me, I can get something done. So about 6 months ago, I went back into Taekwondo, and I'm telling you that to give you some pictures because of having that target and having those goals. By doing that, I've actually accomplished more every single day. When you think it's going to take away from you, it doesn't take away because it keeps you in the present tense, and the more you're in the present tense, the more you can accomplish. But also, how can you be an example if you're not taking care of yourself? I don't want any of you to succeed and be on the other side of the rainbow and be unhealthy. And we can't do that unless we do it by example. So 4 years from this December, I'm testing. I tested in October, I'm testing in 2 weeks, and I test the beginning of December. And then 4 years from December, provided I pass all the tests because I belong to a very difficult school. And so I have to pass these 3 tests in order to get permission to train to go to the next level. I plan on doing it. But, so 4 years from this December, I'll be a master. And can I tell you something, Stacy? My hair hurts. It's a little different than it was 12 years ago. Physically, it's a little different. So when I first went in and went back to train, and this is one of the points I want to make for you. You've got to have courage if you want to do this. And all you need is 30 seconds of courage. And I'm going to share 2 stories with you because it's really important to understand that courage. You gotta have 30 seconds of courage. It's only 30 seconds, but if you want it bad enough, man, you can cross over that threshold, because everyone within exit crosses over the threshold to become better. You will cross over that threshold. So I'm not gonna lie, I drove around that building for 2 weeks before I went in. I've gotta go back in. I can't physically do what I did before I left. Before I left, I could do 100 push-ups on my fingertips. Now I'm back to doing push-ups on my knees. How are they gonna treat me? But plus, I'm used to telling other people what to do, kinda. And now I'm gonna go have other people tell me what to do. Oh, why did I think this was a good idea? Why did I decide to do this? I tried to talk myself out of it so many times. I drove around the building, I went back and forth, and then I finally went in and I crossed over the threshold. And I started in April, it's been 6 months. I could do 20 push-ups on my knees in April, and today I can do 50 push-ups on my fingertips. So, hopefully by December it'll be 75, and we'll keep moving in the right direction. But you can't get there by not practicing and training every single day. You can't get there by not doing stuff. And I remember going into the school and sitting down with the Grand Master and telling him what I'd like to do. And then I said, but I don't know how much time I have, because sometimes I'll be able to come here once a week, sometimes I'll be able to come here twice a week, sometimes there's going to be a couple weeks that I can't show up. And he's very Korean and just an amazing guy. Yaima, which is a derogatory term. You cannot training in your bedroom, you cannot training in your hotel room. And I have a book of what the requirements are. So literally between, it started off so that the end of September, so October, November, and December, the beginning of September, in 90 days time, I have to do 8,000 push-ups. So yes, my hair hurts, my back hurts. Sometimes I don't feel like I can wave. I've got to do 10,000 sit-ups, I've got to do 10,000 punches, I've got to do 10,000 kicks, I've got to do 10,000 squats and kick. Squat kicks aren't fun. You ever try and sit down after doing about 200 of them and try and get in your car? But there's a pattern, right? And there's a requirement, and there's steps. And so if I do all the steps, I will actually get to the other side. I'll be able to accomplish it, I'll be able to get to the other side. And that brass ring is pretty amazing. Right? That when you know you did it, when you just literally gave it your all and you really pushed yourself, you really feel it. You know that this is going to be good, this is going to be great. So I'm glad I had the courage to walk back in. I'm glad, and there are days when I don't feel like it. I did push-ups at 5 o'clock this morning. I did not feel like it. I might have had one extra glass of wine. But the commitment you keep with yourself is the most important commitment. And the commitment you keep with yourself when you have that level of courage is, without question, the most important commitment. So let me share a courage story. Anybody here a John Bon Jovi? John Bon Jovi, New Jersey guy, has an accent a little bit closer to mine, maybe a little bit harsher. And he sent out thousands, back then it was cassettes. He sent out thousands of cassettes and nobody even replied. Nobody even responded, but he was passionate and he knew what he wanted to do. And he listened to this radio station in New Jersey, near where he lived, and he loved this radio station. It played the music that he really wanted to break into. There was a DJ there that gave some people opportunities. He really wanted to get an opportunity to connect and find this DJ and get an opportunity to connect with him. And he did something really smart, which I can tell you is one of the things that I've done to break those records, and that is that he personalized it. Make everything as personal as you possibly can, and you will have people that will be loyal to you forever. So he did his homework on the DJ, and he found out that, doing the homework on the DJ, he found out that he had a certain kind of pizza that he likes. They call it pie in New Jersey, but he found a certain kind of pizza that he likes, and he said, I'm gonna buy the pizza, and I'm gonna just take a chance, and I'm gonna go into the building, and I'm gonna see if I get an opportunity to sit down and talk with him. At least he'd come out and say thank you, right, if he brought him a pizza. And maybe I can start a relationship this way. The mailing it out isn't working, I've got to try something different. Right? If something you're doing is not working, you've got to try something different. Doing the same thing over and over again isn't going to work. He drove around the building for a month, so I felt pretty good about only driving around the building for 2 weeks. He drove around the building for a month, bought pizza after pizza that he actually felt so guilty about not going across and not having the courage to go across, he threw them in the trash, he didn't even eat them. And then one day he got the courage. And he said, it's do or die, I've got to do it. And he forced himself in, got in the elevator, got up, and he actually got to sit down with him. He got to sit down with the DJ. He actually put him on the radio, and they sat and had pizza together. And he said, you have a demo? Duh. And he gave him the demo, and they played it, and obviously the rest is history, right? So you get this Grammy Award-winning person that's sold an unbelievable amount of platinum albums, that it was only 30 seconds of courage. 30 seconds of courage. What have you thought about doing that you haven't had the courage to do yet? You know when you get an idea, and you think it's a really great idea, and then you spend more time talking yourself out of the idea than actually engaging the idea? It's time to engage that idea. When you get an idea, and it comes to you for some reason, and you think, wow, this could work, this might be a great way for me to connect, this might be a great way for me to put together an opportunity, roll with the idea. Roll with the idea. Force yourself to have that 30 seconds of courage. I'm going to tell you, when you do it, you'll sleep like a baby, even if everything doesn't go according to plan, because you just stretched yourself. And once you stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, you can't go back. You can't go back to the way it was. You know, I see an awful lot of people. Our whole entire organization was built on human potential. I see a lot of leaders in a lot of other companies. I watch them come in with their entourage during NAR. They walk through and then they go up to that hotel room. And most of them are literally just trying to protect their jobs so they can protect their retirement. People don't follow people that aren't growing. So you growing is going to get people to follow you. It's going to get agents to join you. It's going to get you more clients because you're growing. People are attracted to people that are growing. People want to be around people that are growing. People want to be fulfilled. They want to matter. More than anything, they really want to matter. So when you make that difference, it makes a difference. So, true financial freedom, because this is what I want for everybody. I want all of you to have true financial freedom. I don't care if you're a regional owner, a broker owner, a trainer, an agent, it doesn't matter to me, an administrator. I want you to have true financial freedom. True financial freedom. And true financial freedom to me is that all your bills are paid before you get out of bed. That works, right? All your bills are paid before you get out of bed. So the first thing you need to do is know exactly what your overhead is. Exactly what it is. Figure it out. How much is your mortgage? How much is your car payment? What are you paying in credit cards every month? What is your overhead for food, for dry cleaning? Just figure out the entire thing and figure out what your overhead is. Because once you figure it out, this is a pretty good target, right? Once I figure it out, all I got to do is figure out, okay, so how do I cover that? You can list and sell real estate and get it covered. Any of you in this room ever sell something when you really needed the money? For sure, it couldn't have just been me. You know how much better it is to just go out and serve and actually have fun and add value to people's lives instead? I never say I sell anything. I don't sell anything. I go out and I have a connection and I have a conversation with people and I see if I can add value to their life, Laurie. And I make sure that I go have enough conversations and add enough value to people's lives and find out what's really important to them, that I can point them in the right direction. Some of them will work for us and some of them won't. But if I go have conversations every single day, we're going to grow, right? And when you think about it as a conversation, when you think about it as adding value, it puts less pressure on the selling part because you're not thinking in that direction, you're thinking of adding value. And then when you find out what's really important, key, you can ask for the order, right? You can without question ask for the order. So, knowing what your overhead is, you can figure it out in listing and selling real estate, but really, in Steve's idea, you know, when you think of trajectory, I've thought of exits one word for this year, trajectory, because of that bow and arrow, because when the bow is pulled back, it looks like a 3. And that idea of everybody getting 3, and the idea of everybody getting 3 and that changing the trajectory of your life because you have money coming through in that you didn't imagine that you could have before, and all of a sudden you start seeing that there's less pressure, and you start to see that you have more cash flow, and you start to see that you have more opportunities. And maybe for some people it's covering your bills, and maybe for other people you're putting it away towards something. We have people that have done everything from starting charities, building homes in churches in other countries, building homes right where they are, putting their children through school, putting their grandchildren through school. It doesn't matter what those dreams are, it matters that you dream. Because Because once you have the dream and you have the vision in front of you, you become limitless. When you have that goal in front of you and it's really sitting right in front of your face, you're just going to want to get closer and closer and closer to it. And you start to see how. Janice encourages you all the time, not just on, by the way, if you really want to introduce people into the company, be on her calls. You have, and I love Lori said it and Lori started it, but you have a free coach in Janice Petaway. Somebody that's already been in the trenches all the time, and all you have to do is participate in those calls. She has a call on Zoom so that you can actually ask questions and say, here's what I'm running into, and she actually answers you back. And it's free. Don't think because it's free it doesn't have value, because I would listen to her every day of my life. It has extreme value, but the key is whether you participate or not, whether you listen or not. But she also encourages you to invest in real estate. What a cool way to get a return on investment. What if you were listing and selling enough real estate to make enough money to pay all your bills, but you also sponsored in enough people to pay all your bills, and you also had enough real estate that you earned that was also growing in value to cover all your bills, so that now you have so many choices and so much freedom. That's what I'd really love to see. It starts with start. So you're going to start with a plan. So targets, tactics, timelines. Targets, what do I want? How am I going to do it? Timeline, what am I going to do about, when am I going to do it by? But then the last one, add tenacity. Because that goal-producing system, when you're passionate about something, nobody can get in your way. When you have a goal and you have a target, nobody can get in your way, right? And you start to see results and nobody can get in your way. When you make it measurable, nobody can get in your way. When I did the triathlon, I'm going to tell you, I was not a runner. I was running telephone pole after telephone pole, and then I was running mile after mile, and I was trying to beat it by a second, and then all of a sudden I was beating it by a minute. And then I became a runner. Not where I want to be. And, you know, it goes back to that commitment, though. I did a triathlon in Montana, and we were at a regional owners meeting, and Max Coleman, the regional owner from Montana and Idaho, stood up and he showed us this whole entire film on Ronald McDonald House, and he showed that they did a triathlon every single year in his community, and that they gave back so much money. It was unbelievable, and he had everybody in tears, and he had 28 people stand up and say they were going to do the triathlon. They were going to start training right away, and they were going to do the triathlon. I'm the only one that showed up. When you make a commitment, even if it's in the heat of the moment, even if it's caught up around passion and you're just all worked up, if you make a commitment, you stick with the commitment. How could I not honor a commitment and then come back and say that I want to lead you? How can you do that? You cannot speak out of both sides of your mouth, so you make sure that you under-promise and over-deliver. But you've got to do something to push you out of your comfort zone. So next on the list, find people that get the most and the best out of you. People that push you out of your comfort zone. The reason that I don't work out with my sister is because we grab a coffee and a donut on the way there and a sub on the way back. I can't work out with her. That's not going to work, right? But those people that push you, I have this young girl that is a master that is one of the people that's training me. I have this young girl that's a master that's one of the people that's training me, and she is unbelievably fast and fierce, and she's won national competitions, and she's in her early 20s, and she's full of fire. And last time I was in class, 50 push-ups on my fingertips, and then a 2.5-minute plank. Okay. So my arms are shaking, my legs are shaking, and she's down beside me with her face right in my face, and she's slamming the floor, and she's like, stay up, don't you let yourself drop, you stay up. And I wanted to punch her pretty little face. I'll get you, my pretty. Oh! But you know what? I love her, because she makes me stay up. And I deliberately put myself next to her, even though she pisses me off. Because I know she's going to push me like that. Those people that really push you out of your comfort zone. Bob McKinnon pushes me out of my comfort zone. He asks me questions that make me think and make me really want to push to go further. Steve Morris pushes me out It's never, what did you do then? It's, what are you doing now? It's not who you were then, who are you now? It's not, we'll get to it. It's how about now? When you like me to do that by, how about now? And then those people that keep you grounded. You know, those people that make you face reality so that you, like he getting up here and saying, no, 25 listings is probably not realistic, right? 15 listings is probably not realistic. But what if you could do 2 by the end of the year? You need to have those people that really keep you grounded and really make you pay attention, right? When I started on the road, and that's why the Grand Master really hit a nerve with me when he said, you can do this in your hotel room. And I'm thinking, I could have been doing this all along. And instead I made excuses, right? I'm on the road, and don't get me wrong, I work a ridiculous amount of hours, and a lot of times there's no food, so you get your hotel room at midnight, and you're starving, and you're willing to eat whatever's there, right? But I'm not making excuses, because you could be more prepared. You know those things are gonna happen, and you can be more prepared. But I had gained 20 pounds when I first got on the road selling regions and going out to sell regions, and I came home and I stormed in the house, slammed the door, stomping up the stairs, set my suitcase down, stomping up the stairs. I'm like, I need to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to call a trainer. This is it. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I let myself do this. And my husband leans up and looks up the stairs and goes, honey, I think you only need to lose about 15. Oh, no, you didn't. Are you kidding me? You're supposed to love me no matter what. For better, for worse, remember that whole thing? By the way, I'm gonna die in high heels. I know a lot of people in the pandemic, you know, put on flatter shoes. I always have high heels on. I ran up the stairs, I had heels on. I pulled one off and I whipped it down the stairs and it hit him in the forehead and he fell over. Served him right. And he still has the divot in his head. It's kind of cute now. Pretty good with weapons, so, but he shouldn't have said that, right? But that's the person that's going to keep me grounded. But if a trainer said to me, you know what, you need to lose 30, I'd say, okay, let's put a plan together, because it wasn't too personal, right? But you need to have those people that say you're working too hard. You need to slow down a little bit. You need to give yourself a break, or you're not going to be good to anybody. You're going to run yourself into the ground. You need to do that. I'm a chronic workaholic. There's no 12-step program. That I need to have somebody around me that says, okay, kid, it's time to stop for a minute. You probably need the same thing. But those people that keep you grounded really do make a difference, and they really do push more out of you. There's a big difference between efficient and effective. Efficient is doing things right. Effective is doing the right things. I can't emphasize that enough. Most people are spending 20% of their time getting 80% of their results. So that if they did more of what they're doing in that 20% of the time, think of the multiplicity factor. We're all only good at a few things, and every single personality profile can succeed in real estate. Every single personality profile can succeed in recruiting and sponsoring. Every single personality profile can succeed in selling franchises. But you've got to sell it based on where your personality is. And you've got to do the things that are good, that you're really strong with. You've got to do the things that are going to get more and better out of you. I watched Stacy and Kenny, and we couldn't have better regional owners in this entire territory. We could not have when Stacy's standing up there, and we all love each other, and we're joking around, and Stacy's standing up there, and she tells me a story about every person that's crossing the stage because she knows them personally, I know she's the right person for the job. When Kenny pushes people out of their comfort zone and pushes them to, you don't accept the status quo. That isn't what you're here for. You don't accept the status quo. And he pushes them out of their comfort zone, and he pushes himself to do more and better every single year, and to beat last year's franchise sales record, and to beat it again the next year, and to beat it again the next year, because that target of #1 is really important to him. But you know what? You're more important. And he knows it. And he wants to see for you and your families better and more. They both do. I am so grateful for both of you. Love both of you. Love everything you're doing. And everyone in here definitely owes them a giant debt of gratitude, because when you have leaders in front of you that are getting it done, it is so much easier to get things done. preparation saves you 100 minutes of stress. And most of us, especially the I personalities, but most of us don't like to do the prep work. But if you do your homework and you look at where there are windows of opportunity and you look at what that national view is, that 30,000 foot view, when you look at that 2,000 foot view, your whole entire state, when you look at that street level view, the market that you serve, when you look at that individual that you're serving, and then you take a good look at yourself to know where your strengths are and what it is you can focus on, you can conquer the world. When you're ahead of the curve before anybody else and you find some windows of opportunity that you can really maximize on, that's when you break records. That's when you really get stuff done. You cannot disrupt skill set and personalization. You can't do it. So the only way that some of these people are disrupting is because we're letting them. We're looking at them and focused on them instead of focused on what we're doing. Your business is in your windshield and they're in your rear view mirror. And I don't mean that derogatorily like I'm blowing them off. I mean, when you look in your rear view mirror, you don't want to hit any blind spots, right? I don't want to run into a motorcycle. I don't want to run into a car I didn't see. I don't want to run into somebody that I don't see. But when I spend more time concentrating on what they're doing than what it is that I committed to do and what it is that I said I was going to do and what it is that I wanted to do, I just lost it. You've got to concentrate on where it is that you are. And the more skill set you have, the more knowledge you have of where those windows of opportunity are, the better off you're going to be. You'll hear me say two things often, and I'm going to say them again now because it works and most people don't implement it. But I promise you, if you do, it will change everything. First, find a dirty dozen, a dozen people that work on the business, not in it. We have unbelievable suppliers around this room and out in the hall, partners for us, and they really are true partners. They actually want to help exit grow, and we want to help them grow. But find a dirty dozen, a dozen people that work on the business, not in it. I highly recommend appraisers, home inspectors, mortgage companies, insurance companies. They will fill in the blanks so that you can serve the consumer better and you'll have knowledge before anybody else. They'll tell you. I had an opportunity to share a company that's closing with all the regional owners that they're closing down and they're going to put it into another organization so they have a window of opportunity of being able to sell franchises to those people, and there's an opportunity to change. And I knew before most of their franchisees knew. Because of that dirty dozen. You can find out information, you can stay ahead of the curve, and man, when you know exactly what's going on in the street, when you're the most well-respected, well-liked, and you have the knowledge, and they say, honestly, I would go to them, I'm going to Andy because he knows everything and he's got a pulse on the market. As soon as you do that, you're literally bulletproof. It doesn't matter what cycle real estate goes through because you're ahead of the curve with your skill set and you're ahead of the curve with your personalization. I highly recommend that two of those people, one of them be somebody that's tied to a planning board or a municipality because zoning laws are changing like crazy. And when you find a window of opportunity to find an opportunity to work with a developer or to do a subdivision or to start to see that properties are going to change, and maybe that's going to change the value of people's properties in the market that you serve. You know, a tiny example, in my marketplace, I live in a rural community, 9,000 people, probably 3,000 homes, and they're all big old farmhouses. And most of them had an ancillary apartment that, in the beginning, farmers were running the farm, and people that worked the farm were living in the apartment. And then as the parents started to retire, they moved into the apartment and the kids took over the farm. And then farms stopped being, right? And so that probably every other one of them now is a farm. And somebody came into the municipality, somebody came into the planning board and changed the law. So instead of making that an ancillary apartment, they made it a two-family. So it could have been an in-law apartment. The in-law apartment would make that house worth $150,000 to $300,000 more. The two-family made it worth $200,000 less. Whoa. They just changed the law. We have one kid. I went into an office that serves that community. One kid went out and door knocked. It affected 543 homes. He went and door knocked for an entire week and he got 49 listings in 1 week. But there are windows of opportunity like that. I'm not saying it's going to be 49 listings every time, but there are windows of opportunity if you really pay attention, and it's about bringing your A game. Pay attention to moving companies too, because moving companies right now with COVID, we don't know where it's going to end. There are going to be people that are going to bounce back into the cities. They're going to be people that want to rebuild the cities. We're going to see zoning laws change so that businesses are going to have residences in them in inner cities. We're going to see shopping malls. They're not going to just all turn into Amazon fulfillment centers. We're going to see shopping malls that are going to turn into 55 and older projects, that are going to turn into places for millennials that they'll all meet in the middle and have a hub and they'll all share business together. We're going to see so many dramatic changes. The affordability that Key was mentioning, we're going to see hotels turned into affordable housing because not as many people are going to go stay in all of those hotels. And some of them lost enough money during the time frame that they can't rebuild. And they can't pull themselves back out. But if you have your ear to the ground, you'll do well. Next on the list. By the way, serve those people. Google them, friend them on Facebook, connect with them on LinkedIn, find out how you can add value to their life. What are their dreams? What are their goals? Because when you help them achieve theirs, they're going to want to help you achieve yours in the biggest way. You know what I said about personalization? It's true. I can tell you that there are two major reasons that I broke world records. One is that I personalized. I did my homework on the person. Much more than the product, I did my homework on the person. So that I found out what their dreams were. You know, talk about a little bit of courage. What do you think it was like asking Bob McKinnon, an icon in the industry, a coach, a guy that built Century 21 and bought it for this much and sold it for this much and had the success and the history behind him? What kind of courage do you think it took me to ask Bob to work with us exclusively? But you know what? I knew he wanted a legacy. I knew he wanted to leave a legacy. When you know what somebody wants and you can help facilitate getting them to where they want, all bets are off. Rick DeLuca, who just bought, Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, and Nevada. He's probably one of the top 10 most well-known coaches and trainers out there. He built an office in Reno, Nevada, and had the highest per-person productivity in the entire nation. And then built a coaching system. The respect that he commands is unbelievable. But what do you think? It was simple to just go in and have a chat? Hey, you? But when you do the homework on the people, you find out that that's what they want. They want to leave a legacy. There's some magic timing when you build relationships with people. Annette Anthony, who, by the way, we should all thank her. She is totally rocking it. I watched her. And did she just come out? I watched her go from, she was working for Sharper Agent, and then I watched her go to, the company started getting bought out, right? And so it all the way went up to market leader, gobbled everybody up, and I knew she didn't want to keep having a revolving door with her business cards. Sometimes your timing with people. Think about some top producers that are out there that something might have happened in their life. Don't think about just only brand new people. When you're looking at brand new people, there's two places I would look very strongly, and one is people that are commissioned salespeople that work already in sales because they have some sales skills. People that are working at Coach aren't selling so many purses in the mall anymore, right? People are buying them online. They're not buying shoes at Macy's so that that person makes 4 times as much in commissions than they do in hourly pay. The people already know how to sell. It's worth having a conversation with them. But all of the people, your job isn't to be able to do more business than them because that gives you the right to have a conversation with them. Your job is to find out how you can help them. How you can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. That's it. So if I know somebody wants to run a division, if I know somebody wants to actually have more free time, I know somebody wants to actually build their business so that they can sell it, and not only sell it, but continue to get residuals afterwards. All I have to do is know what they want. I don't have to do more business than them. I don't have to do more production than them. I can show them what everything Exit has to offer. I don't have to show them just what it is I have to offer. Don't sell yourself short. Don't limit it. Having conversations with those people makes good sense. So, first question that you should be asking yourself is, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for? To your consumer, to the other agents out there, what do you want to be known for? Because I can tell you something really strong. When what you want to be known for and what you are known for match, you're limitless. When what you want to be known for by the consumer matches what the consumer thinks of you, you're limitless. What you want to be known for in your marketplace with other agents matches, you're limitless. When perception and reality match, you're limitless. So really think about what it is that you want to be known for, and really think, what is it that's going to make me get to the point of being known for what it is that I really want to be known for? I only have a couple more points, but I want to make sure I don't miss them because I really wanted to make sure that we all think. So back to I talked about personalization and skill set. Speak with an industry leader every single week. You know, talked about bringing the most and the best out of you and keeping you grounded, but speak with an industry leader every single week. I don't care if you buy them coffee, you buy them lunch, you buy them dinner, you just meet them somewhere and just sit outside in a park, or you even have a Zoom call with them. But try and meet with an industry leader every single week. You'll learn more. You might end up building a relationship with that person. Who knows? You might end up introducing them into the company. But they'll keep you ahead of the curve, but they'll also keep you motivated. They start to spark a new thing that you start thinking of, wow, yeah, I could do that. I could go a lot further. There are people that are willing to sit down with you that are doing unbelievable things. And they love to share what it is they did so they can help you to do it a little bit faster. I know what I was put here for. I was put here so that I could point people, even if it was just 10 degrees or even 180 degrees or maybe even 360, that I can find something that somebody's catch them doing something really good, help them to do more of it so that they can grow. I know that I was supposed to be put here so that I could help people to grow. Maybe you know the same thing about yourself. Maybe there's something different that you have for a picture. But when you go have conversations with these people, you'll find that, especially the people that are leaders, they're willing to share their time. They'll make time for you. Bob and I were both out in the Pacific West, and Rick DeLuca, commanding enough of a presence, he actually invited in the #1 residential real estate salesperson in the country. He coached him. So he came in to speak. As of September 30th, he had made, of his own income and his own sweat, with 2 assistants, he had already made $5 million. September 30th of this year, in his pocket, $5 million. He's probably gonna make about $7.5 million, and you know what? He stopped and took the time to help everybody that was in that room. Do you think he has a lot of free time? Because I'm thinking probably not. But he stopped and took the time because people that have grown and realized that they had opportunities and they had privileges to learn from other people, they want to do the same in return. So, a couple ways to really stick with it and to get stuff done. Asking yourself a couple more questions. What kind of experience do I have that is valuable for others to learn from? That might be something that you can deliver out into your community, right? It might be an event that you can put on that's going to help people. Maybe it's you sharing an event with one of your dirty dozen. But what do you have that's valuable that other people can learn from? Because the more that you're in a proactive position of helping others, the more you're in a proactive position of leading, the more business you're going to do, but the more you're going to grow as a person too. What can you share freely to attract more people, more agents, more clients? What can you share freely? There's probably some things that you have that you could actually send out or offer to people without expecting anything in return, but it's going to show them the caliber of person that you are, and it's going to make them willing to do more. How are you making the industry better? Lori talks a lot about making sure you're proactive and that you take some sort of a leadership role, but that might even be just mentoring people in your own office so that you're raising the bar. But how are you doing that? Because it's a big question. 2 things I'd love to have everybody do, and I think that it's more important than anything else in order to be able to stick with stuff. Number 1, wow at least one person a day. We can all do that, right? Wow at least one person a day. I don't care if it's somebody in your family, one of your kids, you just really thought it out and made it so that it was an experience. By the way, I'm a huge fan of spoiling people with experiences, not stuff. When you can see something and you can let somebody else see something through your eyes, through their eyes, when you can see magic through their eyes. Wow, one person a day. Maybe it's somebody introduced into the company and you're going to help them to do better, and you're going to sit down and you're going to spend some time with them and you're going to make them feel like, wow, I never had this great a service or this much help in my life. Maybe it's somebody in your community. But wow, one person a day, just make up your mind. When you wake up in the morning, who am I going to wow today? Your headspace, your mindset is 4 times as important as what it is that you physically do. In your headspace, when you do something better, everyone will tell you, anybody that's depressed, anybody that's struggling, the #1 thing that you can do that it will better you and put you out of that is to help someone else. To add value to someone else. To volunteer. So, wow one person a day. Whenever you're struggling, you know, Steve Morris always says, when you're down, reach up, and when you're up, reach down. reach out to somebody, because that is truly what we're here for. But here's a way to stick with it, even when you come to a bump in the road, because we definitely run into speed bumps, right? We definitely run into times where we need to push ourselves, and we need to really push ourselves out of our comfort zone. We need to push ourselves because we're really tired, because we're trying to juggle a lot of balls, and we made some commitments, but we need to stick with them. And how do you stick with them? And how do you stay stuck to your dreams? What's going to change, the plan or you? So this is an exercise I want you to do on a regular basis with yourself. And if you shared it with the other people in your office, you shared it with the people in your family, I'm telling you, everybody will be dreaming bigger dreams. Everybody will be focused on bigger stuff. And that's giving yourself a timeline. So targets, tactics, timelines, and tenacity. December 31st, 2021, you accomplish X. You accomplish X by the end of the year. You're the one that's deciding the X. Close your eyes and visualize how it feels when you accomplish that. Close your eyes. Steve Morris says it to me on a regular basis. When I sold out the rights, I sold it out by April 18th, and he said, April 18th, 2007, and he said, April 30th, sell out the entire rights, how do you feel? And I was like, I'm putting a flag in my front lawn. I've always respected everybody that served in the military, and I have family members that have served in the military, and I thought, you have to do something really big in order to deserve a flag. And I thought that would be selling out the rights to the United States. That would be a great opportunity, right? This company knew that so well that they actually put a flag on my front lawn while I was flying home from selling the last region. But every time I closed my eyes, I pictured smiling faces, and I pictured that flag waving in my front yard. And every time I could picture it, I would be, okay, I can go get on another plane. Okay, I can skip another night's sleep. Okay. And it made me stick with it. But then when you get to the other side and you're exhausted, but you did it, you get this renewed energy, and you get this level of fulfillment that there's nothing that can replace that. There's nothing that can change that. And we're an example for everybody that we're around. Bob said 3 years. I see that this is a 3-year window of opportunity. We have an unbelievable opportunity for acquisitions. We have an unbelievable opportunity for new franchises. We have an incredible opportunity for the regions that are left to bring in great leaders and really build this thing out. The biggest opportunity we have is for every agent to bring in at least 3 people a year. It's the biggest opportunity we have. You're on the street, you're doing transactions with other people, you can have conversations, and it's literally as simple as, you know, if you ever thinking about looking somewhere else, I'd be honored if you'd have a conversation with me. How hard is that? And it takes less than 30 seconds of courage. But 3 years, so 3 years from this December 31st, 2025, 3 years from this December, right? From the next year's December, because we're going to start in January. So 3 years from next, as we're focused on January 22, 23, 24. January, December 2024. Jesus, you think I get this by now. December 31st, 2024, I'm going to hang around with Key and do some math. I actually was doing calculus in 9th grade. I couldn't read a map, but I was a math kid. So, but December 31st, 2024, seriously think about this, all of you. We're number 1 as a company, and as many people are coming to you as you're going to them, and it makes it easier, and you're changing lives, and your office is changing lives, and you're having this unbelievable impact. You know, the spirit of exit, when we started it, we were touching 4 or 5 homes a year we were building across North America. So far year to date, because we broke it down and said, how can we do it better? How can we impact more people? How can we impact more offices? How can we touch more lives? We've already done 175 spirit of exits this year. 175 communities have changed. But what about when it's thousands? What about when it's thousands? When we're number 1, and you know that you actually earned your keep, and that you did your part in getting there, and we're all there, and it makes it easier, and you have great cash flow, but even better than that, you have a better quality of life, how do you feel? Because that's how I want everybody to feel. I love you very much. Thank you.